Giving it a minute. Hey, we did it. Always a mystery. Um, okay, very good. Here we are. So, Megan and I wanted to come on today and talk about something that's been coming up for us in our conversations. That came up last week with someone I was speaking to around how to heal and engage with healing practices without feeling deprived or like this sense of deprivation. And why this first came about for us and why it was kind of like in our orbit is because I was speaking to someone last week and we were talking about dietary protocols and like what she'd done in the past for healing autoimmunity and all these different things to get herself healthy. And she was saying, in the past it had felt almost easy to like jump in with restrictive nutrition plans or elimination diets, or even kind of like sort of strong exercise regimens or things like that. Like that felt easy, and it felt like, oh, this is supporting my health and this is feeling good. But in the last 2-3 years, so much has shifted in our world, that she was feeling this sense of deprivation that came from limiting, having a really strict diet or a really strict routine or anything like this, was feeling really, wasn't feeling in alignment, because, and how she was feeling and what she shared was that there's this sense of broader deprivation that's kind of come up in the last couple years. And that can be, deprivation from connection. We were literally isolated from people for a long time, and there's still a feeling of that kind of lingers. It can be, deprivation in authenticity in the world, or deprivation in, so many different things, but like a general feeling of, I'm feeling deprived at this moment in many other areas. And so it doesn't feel in alignment anymore to deprive myself really strongly in other ways in the name of health. So Megan and I were talking about this and felt that it really hit on something that we've been noticing a lot with our clients and in our work and with ourselves over the last few years. And so we just wanted to bring it to light and just talk about it a little bit, because I know that we aren't the only people that may feel like that. And this just really helped me to kind of hone in on why things feel different now when it comes to healing. So Megan, I don't know if you have any insight just around that in general, and then we can kind of dive in.
I mean, I would even add to the list of what we're feeling deprived from is a deprivation of trust. Like we're really deprived of who to trust, who to look to, where to look. I think that, especially given the last 2 or 3 years, a lot of us have lost trust in our body. And when we think about bringing, dietary protocols or supplements or herbs or all of the things that are very well intended, number one, if we don't trust ourselves, that's a problem. And number two, if we don't even know, where to look for trusted information, I think that that's a really big missing part. So what we may be as like, I can't deprive myself anymore of food, or of rest, or whatever, may be coming up around deprivation. I think, at least for a lot of the people I work with, and for myself as well, the root of that deprivation is actually really related.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree. And like even losing trust in so many ways, if we think about it with COVID, like I know even for you, losing trust in the ability that when you send your kids to school, they're going to stay at school and you have that time. Like you don't, like, you've lost that. And so, and I know a lot of other parents like have been feeling that too. And just like, yeah, losing that trust in the world is as it should be, or these are how things go. Like we got rocked, all of us collectively, and are still continuing to feel the ripples of that. And that feeling of, deprivation comes up even in like I heard you say sleep, like even just, yeah, feeling sleep deprived because we're worried, or like we don't have that trust that we had before, that like everything's gonna work out, or our day tomorrow is gonna go like we think it's gonna go. That's a really big thing. And so I think like pinpointing that was really cool a couple of weeks ago, when I was like, we've been having these conversations with all the clients we work with and the people in our groups and whatnot that are feeling a lot of things right now, and why we have to meet this moment a little bit differently than we maybe ever have in the past.
Yeah. Yeah, meet it with more compassion and with more curiosity around what is going to be most impactful. I mean, I know for me, especially with a lot of chronic health stuff I've dealt with, what I thought I would do 3 years ago is different than what I actually do today. And, yes, there's all kinds of things that go with that statement and that sentiment, and grief being one of them. Okay, I actually can't run the marathon that I really wanted to run. My body just won't let me do it. I can still run 3 to 5 miles, which is pretty great. Whereas for a long time I felt like, oh, because I can't do these things, I must be failing. And it's, we have to, or we one really powerful exercise is to think through the lens of, okay, what do I expect my body to do? What do I expect? What am I expecting of myself? And at what point in my life did these expectations, right, these expectations true? And were they ever true? But especially if they're coming from, 25-year-old Megan to 40-year-old Megan, it's solid 15 years difference there, and I think a really powerful exercise is to recognize what age our expectations are coming from, or even what time in our life. And I mean, even for moms, like going from a one child to two children is totally different. So, shifting and asking questions, like asking ourselves the questions of, what's my reality now? What am I capable of? And how does that compare to what I'm expecting of myself?
Mm-hmm. I love that. And that, for anybody listening to this, like those would be really, really amazing questions to just journal on and take a little beat and a pause. Because, like you said, we might find that our expectations are outdated, even if they were expectations and things that were working for us just 2 years ago. Like a lot of things have shifted, and it's like this evolution isn't a bad thing. It's not
Mm-hmm.
a bad thing. It's just an evolution and a change. And so I think being able to just understand what has shifted and meeting your body in the moment now and what it needs. Like the woman I was speaking to, she had done a little bit of this inquiry with herself and was very clear that she didn't need a super restrictive diet plan right now. And sometimes we do need that. Like, I mean, we use those, as tools. But she was really clear that that wasn't the thing she needed to bring health. She needed to engage with her practices, with her food, with lifestyle very differently in order to kind of bring some vitality back in. And I just thought that that was a really cool piece of awareness to know that, so that we're not then forcing ourselves to be somewhere where our body's actually not, or like you were saying, forcing ourselves to be somewhere where we wanted to be at a certain age, but not kind of meeting ourselves now and then being really disappointed, or even just beating ourselves up for that when it's really just a natural evolution. Mm-hmm. So in terms of like what else, people can do to engage with this or kind of like work with these practices, I know we talked a little bit about just engaging with like simplicity, or simple acts of caring for ourselves too. I think like the inquiry that you talked about is really important. What else? What else?
I mean, I think just bringing power back to, or recognizing the power of, if this is new to you, the simple acts of caring for ourselves. I mean, I can just give you some examples that I'm working with, or that I've recommended some of my clients work with. But for me, it's taking a few extra moments in the morning to make my tea and really engage my senses, especially as I'm pouring water over the tea, really smelling the herbs that are coming, that are being brewed, or taking time to think through what I'm going to eat for dinner early in the day. Because if I get to 4 o'clock, I'm screwed. I'm just going to wind up throwing some random stuff together, and it helps. Like it causes anxiety for me, which then is depleting me. Um, if you're working with a specific protocol, even giving yourself a few extra moments during the week to freshen up what you're consuming, like even different types of meals. I really love, or I'm in the process right now of really enjoying choosing what I cook based off of different spices that I want to work with. So instead of like, oh, it's going to be, I might know it's going to be taco night because it's National Taco Day, apparently. Yeah. But instead, I'm thinking through, oh, today I'm really craving cilantro. My body's really feeling like I need cilantro. So I make something that's more geared towards that herb. And then just really taking time to reflect on different questions, like the questions I said earlier, or, even like asking yourself, what was modeled for me around taking care of myself as a kid? That's a really, really big one. And that's not necessarily a simple or response for many people, but I think bringing yourself to some deeper inquiry is a really profound and powerful way to open yourself up to heal, as opposed to coming in it with like fists raised, ready to fight because you're ready. You're going to be depressed. It's just a different. It's an energy shift.
And I think a lot of that image of like, I'm going to fight it a little bit. Like, I'm going to go into this healing work and I know they're going to tell me that I can't have this and this and this, and I want to, and like, oh, this is going to feel, like that is like, yeah, so many of us have been there, and that's like the energy right now that's not working for a lot of people because of the times we're in, because of what we've experienced, because of that trust that, being broken that we were talking about, because of the feeling of deprivation. And so can we invite in a new way? And there is a new way, and that's what, we're really passionate about inviting people into, and also creating different spaces where we can actually have that time and space to meet ourselves in the moment in the way that serves us best. And so we just wanted to share this message in case anyone has been feeling the same way, to help kind of pinpoint it and bring it to the light and give some ideas to start to work with it, and also to just give some encouragement that that it's normal if you're feeling this way, and that there is another way. There is another way, is really how I feel about it. Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Well, thank you all so much. And if anyone has any questions, you can always drop us questions in the comments here, and we're really happy to support you. You can learn more about our offerings and our creations at slowmedicinecollective.com. We're running our Awaken group right now, and we hope to be offering another one in a few months for people. So if you're interested in that, definitely just send us a message and we can get you on the wait list. There's a lot of different ways to engage with us, and we plan on putting out a lot of videos and mini teachings and support for you to help meet the moment at this time. So feel free to reach out. Any other thoughts, Megan?
I don't think so. This was fun. Thanks for being with us.
Yeah, thanks for being with us. All right, we'll see you later.